We're on.
We're ready to go.
Chris Degani, welcome to Not Your Thoughts, man.
Thanks for having me.
All good, man. All good. I did want to ask you this. Degani, linked to the restaurants or no? It is linked to the restaurants. I was sitting on it. I'm like, wait, but one of them, does it have a H? Does it not?
Nah, so I've taken, there's two H's. There's one before the G and after the G. But because...
Degani.
So my dad and his brother owned the original one. And they had the same concern because people can't really say when the H's are in it.
Yeah.
So we just took it out for ease of just being able to say it.
Yeah. It definitely has a more of a stamp.
Yeah, it looks a bit better.
It's crisp in capital as well.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah, they didn't have the franchise. They had the first one and then sold it. And this was before I was born, so
shit,
a very
man.
long time ago, yeah.
What a link there,
Yeah.
I like that. I like when and we were somewhat talking about it before the cameras were on, but just when Melbourne, there's a success in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's mad from that part.
Yeah, it is cool. Everyone always asks.
Yeah, did they just outgrew it and is like, hey, I can make some bank on this if we sell it off, basically.
Well, they never knew it was going to be what it was. I mean, the person who bought it had all the idea of making it a big thing, but my parents always loved like the small one cafe, them involved, home vibe. So yeah,
nice, man.
Yeah.
What genre do you feel your music actually falls under?
That's something I've been trying to work out this year.
Yeah.
I love a lot of recent releases have been like Afro, sort of a bit more like sunset vibe type music.
Yeah.
But a lot of the artists who I actually listen to and I love and I go and I see, they're all like tech house.
Yeah.
Bit more melodic, bit more club vibe. And then it kind of comes down to like, you enjoy playing and making each thing. It comes down to like, where do you want to play? Do you know what I mean? So if I choose that sort of Afro route, then you limit yourself from being able to play at like the big nightclubs. Yeah, gotcha. The big festivals. It's sort of more outdoor vibe, which is sick. So it's kind of like weighing up both and seeing which one you want to pursue. Yeah,
and then is your mood and emotion changing the genre? Like how are you like, all right, this is a genre for the next, and sorry, I don't mean to make it so numeric, but oh wait, you're an aerospace engineer as well.
Oh,
So
I study it, yeah.
Study it, sorry. Yeah. So you might actually appreciate this, but
that's how I think. Yeah.
In terms of like, let's say genre, are you all right? Now I'm doing electric pop. Is that for X amount of months? You're now kind of working on that, or can it kind of shift? This week I feel like this week I feel like that. What's
every day is different.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, it depends on the weather, I'd say.
It literally
like
depends
when the
on
sun's out, I live in South Morang where there's all these hills and you go for a walk and then you're like, oh, I really want to make that. I want to make like Afro. I want to make something like emotional, you know? And then sometimes I'll go out on a Saturday night and I'll be like, nah, I want to make something. I want to make something full on. But
man.
That's the hardest thing, trying to choose which sort of direction you want to take.
Yeah. And that's something I really enjoyed. So when I'm planning for guests, I just dive into the guest's world, their realm, anything that they're doing. I'm just like a form of journalism. I treat it like, and this is definitely the funnest one I've had. Yeah. Because I'm just putting a tune. So I'm just enjoying I just music on and just I'm studying right now. This is hectic right now.
It is, yeah.
That's mad. Cool. How did it all start then? So yeah, what's the origin story for you?
It goes back to like probably primary school. When I was in primary school was when Michael Jackson died.
Okay, yeah.
And when he died, I became like the biggest fan on the planet.
Yeah.
So we'd have the school assemblies, like with 1,000 kids, the whole primary school. And me and my friend would come up and like dance to Michael Jackson in front of the whole school. It was so funny. I don't know. There's no videos. I can't find it.
Bro,
thank the Lord. But
you think that's bad? Fuck, this one's fuck, all right, whatever. Yeah, this is it's a safe space, yeah? Oh, shit. I remember in primary school, me and a mate from primary school, there was like a talent show. And just guess what song we would sing.
Which one?
Just guess.
I wouldn't even know.
Mariah Carey, We Belong Together.
Oh, my God.
And so that's bad enough. Now, it was cute. It was funny. We're kids, but you see this guy now, he's like I hope he's not, I don't think he's going to listen to this, just like the tats and the staunch and this. And I'm like, bro, I know you, bro. Shut up.
If you have a video, you could full just expose him now,
It's on that, the buzz I'm talking about. Yeah. But nah, that's different times, man. Thank God there was no videos.
I know, very lucky. But that sort of kick-started everything. Then I'd say I don't really
Wait, sorry,
remember.
kick started as in your
Like my love for
internally.
music,
Yes,
yeah.
understand. Yeah.
And then when I was 11, I'm like, my birthday cake was a DJ deck. So I'm
Oh,
guessing
wow,
at
man.
that point, I remember I always wanted a set of decks, but back then it was really expensive. Like it wasn't as accessible as it was now. Plus the software, like you don't just have to buy the thing, you buy the software, and then it wasn't like USB plug-in now. There was no like YouTube to MP3.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got to buy the decks, you got to buy the software, every song you got to buy, and it's like for an 11-year-old kid.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
It's a lot. So I sort of, that slipped away. And then I started producing at 15, but that was for like a couple months because free software, you only get to like use it for that day.
Yeah, right.
So I just keep doing that over and over again. And I actually was producing R&B at that point.
Okay.
And then that slipped away. And then when we got into COVID and I was 19, then I started like fully delving into it.
And this is all pre-social media, right? Like, or in the come up of it at least.
In the come up, yeah.
Yeah. So what does it mean when you say you were doing it? Because now anytime we do anything, like even this, you know, you're watching it on social media. Like what were you doing? Was it just making the beats and enjoying it? Were you showing friends? What did that process, like, what did it look like?
I feel like back then there wasn't a need to like share as much as there was now.
Yeah.
So I was just making it and then I would just download it and just listen to it myself.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Yeah, or perform in front of a school.
Yeah. It's fucking the Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So it was pretty much just that. And then now obviously through COVID, social media blew up and it became wanting to share it on a bigger platform. So that's how it sort of led to this now.
Yeah. So essentially during the COVID process is when you started to externalize it a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a bit of traction on social media. Obviously, we're not explosive, but you definitely have a audience and a following. What was that process like? Did it occur out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Does it blow up? How's it go?
It was probably December of 2020, or maybe where I like put out. So I was on the way to the gym. My friend was coming to pick me up, and I made like a little mashup of 2 songs. It was 2021, and I just put it on SoundCloud I just used to just post things. I'm like that. I don't care about perfection. I just post it. And a week later, it was on 10K. 2 weeks later, it was on 100K.
Oh, shit.
And then now it's on like 800,000.
Oh, wow, man.
And then the following 2 tracks hit, I don't know what they're on now, but it's over 200,000 each. So
man,
the start was really explosive.
Yeah, yeah.
I got 1.5 million something streams in the first year of making music. So
God damn, I had no idea, man. Yeah, shit.
So they're not on my SoundCloud anymore because they're like, they don't
not
fit
up
the
to your
style.
style.
Yeah,
so standard now. Sorry.
But it was pretty cool. It was awesome. Like every day, the notifications and people messaging and everything. It was sick.
Are you Are you alright on social media? I'm the worst. So I didn't even have social media before the podcast, or it'd been years without it. But now I wouldn't say I'm revolving around it, but I definitely like the fucking. I'm like, oh yes, fucking like I just get like a real like dopamine hit. Yeah. So I've had a bit of a hiatus, which was nice, but did that start to influence and not in a negative way at all, but did that start to play an influence on the motivation as well?
It's still coming up. Like I don't care about it, but I know how important it is to progress. Yeah,
literally.
So I sort of have to do it. I mean, as an artist these days, you have to do it. You have to do some sort of either TikTok, Instagram, something, or else then you're just like a fish in the ocean. No one's gonna find you.
There's no links. Yeah. It's literally it's and that's the thing as well, is it feels like with social media, a big thing is this intentional forced jumping on the algorithm, and then but doing it in a way that, and this is where it starts to get sticky. Like even the podcast, again, it's so easy because I'm just talking and getting to hear your story. So it's awesome, but there's still a creative element to it. I can imagine that affecting the creative process as well. How do you separate the two to make sure you're not doing something, or how do you distinguish whether, I like this, I'm enjoying this, it's creative, or if it's the social media bug getting in there as well? What's your metric to measure?
Social media is like secondary. Like I'll have a song done or I'll have something ready to go, and then I'll think about the content for it, which is hard because when you make a reel for a song or you make a TikTok, you got to get to the drop within 10 seconds of the video.
Yes, exactly.
But like the music I make, I like the whole minute before because you're sort of building towards it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not a good thing, but I think it'd be good to learn to sort of produce with that in mind.
Yeah, the cat
Getting a little bit quicker towards
the hook they call it. Yeah.
It'd be good to learn how to produce like that, because I think a lot of, and it depends. Like I don't know if I really want to head down that route of being like a TikTok DJ and like a.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't think you. Yeah, sorry, go on. What's TikTok? I don't think you'd become TikTok DJ in that sense.
But more so like evolving changing what I like to match what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, I get that, man.
Because there is a style on TikTok, like the TikTok sounds and everything. It's a style. Yeah. But if you look at songs from, let's say 2008, they're like 7.5 minutes long.
Yes, bro, that's true, bro. I was watching a movie. Sorry, it's called Solaris from 1972, and I'm only saying it because I feel cool saying I was watching a movie from 1972. I'm cultured like that.
Yeah.
But man, it's a 3-hour movie, very slow. It's about long short of it. I didn't understand the start, but these guys go to a space station. There's something happening there. They send a psychologist up to see, and they're for some reason like interacting with this planet. I didn't understand why they're there and why can't they just stay on Earth, but sending radiation beams there, but the water of the planet was like a conscious being, and it started to affect the people on the space station and create like hallucinations, to the point where they knew it was hallucinations, but it still got trippy as fuck. The link to why I'm saying that is there were so many scenes in that where it was so like, there was probably like a minute maybe worth of a scene which is kind of long. You were just following the car on the freeway and watching it take the left lane, and it was just like this calm, peaceful scene. And I'm just sitting there like, I was just so happy that that scene was there and that I had to just calm the fuck down. And yeah, it feels like we're losing the beauty that comes with long-term thinking because of our like fucking ADHD incapacity to go like that.
I watched Oppenheimer recently. Probably like one of my favorite movies ever.
I haven't seen it yet. You've queued me up.
That's one of those movies where it's like, I think it's 3 hours as well. And a lot of people didn't like it because it was too slow, or like it didn't have that spark that people look for. And that's what I mean. Like you go to DJ sets from 2000, they're playing full songs out, start to finish.
Yeah.
And how they were made.
Exactly.
And then now
the progression, the build up matters, man. I feel like that's important.
100%.
It sets the scene. It lets me understand the artist, and that's what I honestly appreciated about researching your music is the progression of it. It was enjoyable, and we're losing that, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's just changed. Like it'll come back, but music goes through cycles. Like now we're obviously back in that little trance era where the music that was doing really good in the 90s is doing good now.
Yeah.
So it all just comes in cycles, but definitely for TikTok to do really well, you need these sort of big drops and needs to be a bit more glamorous.
Yeah. I feel like from my experience, because and I appreciate the criticism for the podcast. I genuinely really appreciate it. But the main thing I'm getting told is like my page is too boring. They're like, you need to hook people in. But my version of it is I feel like I'm filtering out those people who aren't there for the long run. Like I want the people who aren't in a rush and they're just chilling and they're putting it on when there's nothing to do, or it's because I feel like it almost becomes a reward where if you didn't judge early and you didn't make it, then it's your loss. Because if you stick around, you'll see like what can come of it, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you feel similar in a sense where you can almost kind of, because right now we're still somewhat at our core, I feel like if you set the precedence of your core, I don't want to call it audience, but viewership, that can it can just create a stronger foundation when the growth actually happens. Not really a question, but what do you think about that?
Well, I'm not too worried about what other people think of what I do. I just make what I make, and if they like it, they like it. Sometimes it does bad, sometimes it does good, and then you sort of learn and go from there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Some songs I've made are a bit more like slower and they drag out a bit, and some are quicker. So it's just how I feel on the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm on TikTok and Instagram and everything, so I fall into it a bit as well.
Of course. Yeah.
But I'll just go with the flow.
Well, that sounds fucking pretty. At least you know your core. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
there is, again, it's such a tango because I've somewhat feel similar, but again, there's you do want the reinforcement as well.
Yeah,
It
you
does add a motivational push as well, where yes, I'm doing it for me, but am I doing it for nothing? So what's in that am I doing it for nothing moment? I don't know if I'm looking for validation or
I
not
think
as well.
when I start, I was getting 100,000 streams a week,
Yeah, true.
which is
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, wow.
So, but I didn't enjoy what I was putting out. Like it was very commercial and pop, and I didn't actually get a lot from it.
Yeah.
Like no money, no bookings, nothing.
Mm.
So yeah, it might be less now, but you sort of learn to disconnect the numbers because they don't really mean a lot.
Yeah,
In music, I'll say especially. That's why I'm sort of disconnected with numbers now, and I'll just work on what I do. And the goal ultimately is to do a show up from 200 to 500 people. So if there's that many people there, then you can sell out a show once a month, once every 2-3 months. And
Yeah.
then you're set.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd love to be at one of your shows, man. What does that look like, and what are you doing now? Are you currently DJing at venues? Is that
So
what are you working on now? Yeah.
this year I've had a break to sort of just work out, like I said before, which direction I want to take.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, I'll start hopping back into DJing in clubs
Yeah. Okay.
here and there, just to sort of, we need content these days. So
Yeah.
to start filming some stuff. And then I'm hoping by the end of next year to be doing something of my own, like my own show. Or,
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's the goal. I normally play in Sydney. There's a group there called Dash that they sort of fit where I'm going with.
I think I've heard of them. Yeah.
So they've got, I feel like the weather there, I'd say, makes them a bit like it's a better crowd.
Yeah.
I don't want to like nothing against Melbourne, but they like what I play and what I make better. So yeah,
Sydney's good like that. I appreciate Sydney, but I could never live there. And and it kind of falls into what you're saying, because the beauty of Sydney is they're a bit crazier. There's a bit more energy. It's also dog eat dog. It's a lot more. It's like Melbourne on roids, literally, because every cunt's on roids as well. And they stop swearing in this, but every person is on roids. But I completely understand what you're saying there.
Because we don't have it here, and I really wish we did. They got these boat parties out on the harbour, sun's going down. The vibes for the music, especially what I make, is like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it a bit more. Like you think about that type of music, where are you going to play it here? What venue are you going to go
Like
for?
the Arbor is the only one, and that's kind of over.
And you want to book it 3-4 months in advance in like Melbourne weather, even in summer, you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult here to try and get that sort of music going.
Yeah. How would you measure the metric of, like, again, obviously on socials and the views and people, you know there's an audience there and a following. But if you were to tomorrow not make it happen, but do something, how are you measuring how many people would come? Like, is there a bit of anxiety of that? Like, as to what the outcome might be? Or
by
there's
that
confidence?
time, I'd probably, if I was going to do a show with 300 people, I'd have to believe that there were 3,000 that would come.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
You'd be sure that 300 would. You know
Yes.
You'd sort of go 10% below, like below what you'd.
Yeah. 10% of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're basing that off just essentially engagement or just the feel.
Engagement.
Yeah.
You get a lot of DMs, like how many people are DMing me?
Yeah.
How many people? You got your like Spotify metrics as well.
Yeah,
you can
I love
see
that.
where they are. So you look at different places.
Mm.
Right now, it's very spread, like across countries. So it's hard to like pick where to sort of like Melbourne is equal with a lot of other countries.
Yeah.
So it's hard to sort of just commit to that, but it's the easiest and most accessible.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess that's the social media globalization.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Do you are you networking when you're out there? Are people coming up to you? What's the environment like? Is it everyone's just there to kind of party? How do you kind of expand your network? And I'm asking for a friend as well, because I'm like, so how do you do the thing?
When I'm playing, I'll talk to the other DJs. I'll see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'll see how they feel the industry is at the moment. For me, a big majority of it is Instagram. Like I'll just message.
Yeah, bro. It's so good, man. It's so good.
It's like you got nothing to lose, really.
Yeah,
so
literally.
I love to message just bigger artists and then work my way down and see who responds, who doesn't.
Yeah, because Medusa grabbed one of your
Yeah.
samples.
Medusa have one of my songs. So,
yeah. And they've reached out to you in that instance?
Yeah. Mattia, or Matt, he's the DJ guy from Medusa.
Yes.
And he filmed a set on like a boat party, which they don't normally do. They're very like hard tech house sort of group. And I thought I had a song that would suit that set really well. So I sent it to him and he loved it. I haven't heard anything about him playing it.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really played that type of set. So hopefully in the future, yeah.
But more to the point of, this is establishing those networks and those links through the social.
They have 1 billion streams on like 4 or 5 songs. So, you know, there are other artists with less who didn't respond.
Yeah.
So you got to appreciate like, this guy's way more down to earth than all these other people.
Yeah. And that's similar to what we're talking about, because I've experienced similar, and I feel like, again, it comes down to, in my experience, just this kind of filtering of those who aren't on the same wavelength. That's not to judge and say, oh, fuck, I'm always like, even if someone's kind of shut me down, which if you have, I'm still open to, work together in the future if that needs to happen. But at its like face value, I feel like, again, you're kind of just filtering out those that, I guess, won't align with you anyway, if they're the type to kind of go, yep, all right, not with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It is a bit of a game, huh?
Yeah, it is. But, that getting that response, I mean, they're a group that influenced me like magically.
Yeah.
A lot of my sound comes from them. So to get them, like they were the one group I wanted a response from.
Yeah,
so I feel accomplished already as
so that's awesome. That matters, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So how do you, what's it look like? You've sat down and I'm curious about the creativity. Are you starting with, and I know you can't really just materialize creativity, so forgive the somewhat silly question, but does it start with a beat? Does it start with a inspiration of a certain thing? Is there melody? Like what you've just said, I'm trying to grasp how you even start, because I'm just seeing the end product and I'm like, fuck, all right. What's the start look like for you?
Every day, like it's a different inspiration. So sometimes you just sit down and you just pressing on the piano and you'll hear something and go, oh, all right, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and a good thing that a lot of artists do is they'll look at a melody of another song, they'll get all the notes down, copy it, and then just start moving it around, and then move it around until you get something that fits. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be different, but you'll have a reference.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's that. Sometimes you start with the drums, and then from that you can sort of write something to it. But there's not much option. You've only got 12 notes on a keyboard.
Yeah. And you've so you're just kind of, wherever you start, you just start piling on.
It just once you start, it just builds.
Yes,
so you know what to do next. Yeah.
And then, so you said, how what's the vocals like? Are you engaging the person, or is it sometimes an existing track? What's that look like?
That's probably the hardest bit about this. So there are a couple vocalists that I know and I sort of work with, and we go back and forth. But majority of what I've got now is it's an app, and people just upload their vocals onto it.
Oh, wow.
And
Yes.
You can just chuck it on your track and use it, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
and
the problem is that you don't really you got to build your track around that.
So because they've started.
It's already there. You can't ask them to change it.
Yes.
So they've just uploaded it and that's it. If you work with an actual vocalist, maybe I'll have a beat and then I can say, can you like write something to this? Or we'll work together to write something to that.
It kind of emerges into this like, something you've created together.
There's a lot more freedom in direction.
Yeah. Well, I fucking would not have picked up on that, man, because it just flows so well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it takes hours. You're just sitting there clicking. I use an app called Splice, which just 90% of it is just not good. Like it's like they won't fit with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's really just play, and you're sitting there for hours listening to a vocal. And then you hear one and you go like, yeah, that's it. You just know, like, what vocal will do well. You can hear it. Because I feel like for house music, a lot of the tracks that do well, like popular, the vocals are very similar. The cadence, the voice.
Yes.
You can hear it. You know when it's the one.
And that's kind of the thing as well, is you're in this, it's a feeling as well. I guess you mentioned, so how help me understand what's the distinction between a DJ and a producer? I see that somewhat similar. What's the difference there?
So I feel like a producer, obviously you make your own music, right? A DJ, in its traditional sense, was someone, you got all these records from different people, and you put it together and you make like a set. So like Carl Cox, Solomon, all these older DJs, they'd play for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and it'd be like a journey. And that was DJing. And it still is like that to a sense, but now I feel like more producers are on the scene, and it's like, if you're playing a whole set of your own music, you're sort of like The Weeknd coming here and singing. You're just performing a show. More so than just playing different songs together.
As in the sorry, do you mean the whole set becomes?
It's just your own music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas DJs will try and mix different songs together, different speeds.
Gotcha.
So I can sort of go at home, and if I'm planning a set, I can change my music, maybe the speed, maybe the outros and everything, so that it all sounds like one song.
Yeah.
You have a lot more control, whereas DJs a bit more creativity. And you have to read a crowd as a DJ. So
yeah.
it's sort of your subject. At a nightclub, for instance, you're playing what the people want. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I go and start my own show, and
they're there for you anyway.
So I don't have to read the crowd. I'm playing what I want, and they're there because they like it.
Yes.
That's the main sort of difference, I'd say.
So it sounds like you got to be. Well, it's a very social realm. Like you're literally existing in this. And do you go to festivals much? What's your buzz like?
Nah. I love indoor venues. I love like nightclubs, the lighting, the sound, like the bass. You lose that when it's outdoor.
I'm offended.
Yeah. I feel like you lose the intimacy when you're outside.
All right. No. Good point actually. Yeah. I love the outdoor because I don't go to much, so it'd be like twice a year maybe. But it's the just the summer, but it feels almost like a social jungle where you're kind of, even in a nightclub as well, but like this kind of like where the like social or normal civilized rules don't apply. Yeah. And I feel like it's this weird world. Yeah, are you somewhat extroverted? What's your personality like in general? And I guess it sounds like you need to be able to read the room.
In terms of like when I'm playing?
Well, I guess both, yeah. Are you naturally extroverted, and does that play into when you're playing?
Yeah, I'd say I am,
Yeah,
I mean, I was jumping on the school stage in front of everyone and just dancing. So
it's fucking rocking it, yeah.
But that's the thing. Like I like when the clubs are so loud, you just can't hear anything. It's just that, and you're just focused on that.
Yeah.
Whereas festivals, there's a lot of, you can hear everything. I've only been to a couple, so I can't speak on all of them, but you lose a lot of volume. You lose like the feeling of it. I can't really feel the songs.
Yes, I know what you mean.
In a nightclub, where the subs are right there.
Yeah.
And it's all like locked up. But yeah, that's what I enjoy about music, really.
Like you're unintentionally selling it well, because that's a really solid point.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Would you want to work on? Would you be happy to work on festivals or?
100%.
Yeah?
I mean, it's subjective. Like for that Afro type of music that I was talking about, that I've been looking into, that's like sunset, beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of, not festival, but like an outdoor event. That's where you want to hear it. That's where you want to play it. But in terms of like the big festivals, I'm at Tomorrowland, of course.
Yeah. I see those. That looks like all these
amazing,
and fairy tale situations going on.
So many people would be awesome. But yeah,
where would you take it? Sorry.
No, go.
Yeah. I guess career goals in the long term. Do you have a particular goal in mind, or what does progress look like?
Or just doing my own show would be probably the peak of it.
Yeah, gotcha.
A club called High in Ibiza. It's like the #1 club in the world. That's like the dream. Like that club room is amazing. So that's probably the #1 place I'd want to play. But I think the biggest goal would be to sell something out here.
Yeah.
Do a really big show here.
Well, you heard it here first, Melbourne. Straight out. And that's something I like as well, is when there are shows that are here, there's a sense of community as well. This sense of like, if we got to go hard to help ours, make it, kind of jump on that algorithm and push up. So I'm vouching for you, man. Please, I'm saying it like it's for you. It's for me. I want a reason to go out and fucking party, bro.
Well, hopefully, I'm hoping by the end of next year. Should definitely be by the end of next year.
Yeah.
So So we'll see how we go.
Nice, man. What's do you have any rituals? Anything that you do before got a fucking rain dance before you
A lot of alcohol, maybe.
a lot of alcohol,
That
shit,
helps
yeah.
a bit, helps a bit with the nerves.
Yeah.
No, I'll just hop on and start going. You know?
Yeah.
The first couple songs are always a bit, you know, you're a bit shaky, you're a bit nervous, but then after that, you're sweet.
Yeah. You're just kind of setting the scene.
Yeah, because you got to, especially in new places. Like, the first time I went to Sydney actually was interesting because I sort of played how I did here, and a lot of songs that do really well here just won't do well there.
That's weird, man.
Yeah, and it's not that far away.
Yeah.
And it's like the demographics are a little bit different. So it was interesting to learn how to read a different place.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then you think about different countries be even bigger difference.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to learn that. That skill.
It would. It's weird because I've noticed as well when we're it'd be different, but we're also all consuming the same things on social media as well. I don't know if it's happened to you, but I've this like friends who I haven't seen in months or like a really long time, and then we'll catch up on conversations, whether it's politics or this or that, and it's almost like it feels like we're all talking, but everything I say, I know they've heard before because they've seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then they respond to me and I'm like, oh, I saw that too. And like, it gets weird because like, it feels like we're having a conversation, but it's literally not our thoughts. Like it's just come downstream and I'm like, wait, what are we even talking about? I feel like I'm saying things and you've already heard it all before. And it's just, I don't know, it's a trippy experience I've noticed now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think for music, where a lot of these songs that I was playing there were like before COVID. So
Yeah.
it comes down to their upbringing, you know what I mean? Which would be different.
Yeah.
in different places. So
It's funny how COVID's it's like a point in time now. It's like 3 years of fucking what? But now it's just like pre-COVID, post-COVID. That's just kind of where we've landed on
for
it.
my industry, it's changed everything. Like it's completely different to how it was before. TikTok wasn't really a thing before it. Play styles, producing styles, everything changed after
Yeah,
that.
shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
It was a big difference, very
Yeah.
big difference. Like I said, like the 7-minute song's all gone.
Yeah.
Now it's all like radio edits, 3 minutes.
Mm.
And you just drop, you know.
Yeah, but it's
people
also
engaged.
like, it feels like that's happened, but I feel like a lot of the things that's happening now, it's been building up to that point anyway. Do you know what I mean? And then I don't want to COVID talk, but that kind of became the catalyst of all these things, including our short attention span that's come of that, basically.
Yeah, I didn't notice until I started studying again like, how short my attention span got.
Yeah.
Like it was actually a thing where you're like, whoa, I gotta get off these apps.
Yeah.
And start like getting it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I heard a really good note, and it stuck with me, and I think it's like great advice, is if you notice when you pick up your phone, it always happens during a transition. So let's say you sit in the car, that's when I'll pick up the phone. Or if I'm driving and then I've stopped on a light, I don't do this. If this is in court, I do not. I've heard this. But yeah, if you stop, it's when you pick up the phone. So it's always this transitional behavior is when the phone actually happens. So the knowledge alone, I feel, is what like having the awareness of that fact, because it feels like a fact, is so much more likely you have the control to be like, oh, transition, or you prepare for the transition and you're like, oh, I'm gonna not go near it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really true.
Yeah. I'm struggling, bro.
It's bad.
Yeah, it
gets really
and we
bad.
say that we're all like, oh yeah, we're all agreeing, but it's like, and then it gets scary, bro. Like, have you seen those videos of that are like, how much time you're wasting on it as well? And I just feel like time is fucking slipping, and I'm just like, I don't even want to be on my phone. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And I just literally can't get off it.
The scariest thing is like on the train home from school.
Yeah.
There's one day where I come home at 5:30, which is like with all the workers, and like everyone's just down on their phone.
Yeah.
You look around and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is like not good.
I know, but it's funny because I do the same. So sometimes I want my main character, my protagonist moment. So like, I'll like after I put my phone down, I'm like, you fucking fucking peasants. I was like and then I'm like, forget about it a bit. And I'm like, oh, fucking.
Let's watch one more thing. Yeah. But it is scary to look around and see that. You're like, wow, this is really bad.
Bro, it's literally the zombie apocalypse. Like, it's here. It's here. Zombie movies are probably, for some reason, I don't know why, they're the ones that really, I just can't handle them. Like, I've had zombie dreams as well. Like, something about this zombie concept really, really, like, affects me. I don't know what it is. And specifically on the train, that look up moment, and everyone's like this. And, like, I at least, like, fix my posture while I'm on it. You know, at the minimum, I try to have, like, some form of, like, conscious control of, like, all right, just keep your neck straight at least. But it really scares me when I'm just fucking seeing the heads down, yeah. It feels like you can't even, like, we're going full zombie. You can't even have a fucking opinion on things anymore. It's like, I don't know. I don't know where the world is right now, but it's, music is the antidote. Seriously, unironically, bro, it feels like music is this kind of, so I recently read a book that said music actually developed before language developed in humans, in the way we evolved. And there's like Amazonian tribes as well that they communicate through tones. You know what I mean? So I think people really don't understand, I don't want to say it like that, but people need to reappreciate the fact that music is something that genuinely connects us as human beings. And I feel like being able to move, being able to feel the rhythm, being able to some degree, look like an idiot as long as you're feeling good and experiencing what you're experiencing. I feel like music can help us genuinely pull out of this zombie, algorithm mode. So, yeah, I honestly appreciate what you're doing in that sense. It's huge.
I feel like DJs will have seen it more than other people, because when we first came out of COVID and I started playing, and the crowd was just so awkward. They were just like looking to each other, and they were more fixated on everyone else and what they thought of them.
Yeah.
And then now it's actually it's better. People are a bit more like free to dance, and but at the start it was very awkward. Like, it was just people were so self-conscious about what other people thought because they were just at home for so long.
Well, it's that, but it's also humans. Like, you can't be around humans. Like, we literally villainized human touch, human. You know what I mean? It really feels like we just ripped it away. And I'm not trying to, it's COVID. It was COVID. That's the reality of it. And I guess did that kind of, you just reckon it slowly people started to get into it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think even play style changed a bit as people started to get more and more into it. Like, when they're like that, you sort of feel like you have to have big drop. So you're mixing quicker. And I found myself doing that every week, and then it sort of slowed down. I could play 2 drops. I could play a song out because the people were getting into it a bit more.
Oh, gotcha.
So I think music did help to get people out of that sort of awkwardness, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it's all it takes is that one person to, like, not one person, but the individual to do what you're doing, to do what I think I'm doing as well, which is like not first principles directly need the validation at your core. And then when you see the other people just enjoying themselves, it's like, oh wait, we're allowed to have fun. This is okay. We're allowed, you know what I mean? So it's good, man. It's good. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever. I feel like that's a there are some things that I could. That looks like a distant world to me. I'd be. I can't imagine a reality where I'm doing it, where you're out on stage and you're just like, hey guys, this is me. Judge it almost. You know what I mean? It sounds pretty. Did you get used to the anxiety, or
never thought of it like that?
No.
I just used to just be like, it's like I'm at my own party and I'm on the AUX.
Fuck yes,
like,
bro.
Just fucking play what I want.
Yeah.
And, that's it.
That's how I am when I'm dancing, bro. I get fucking weird, but I love it. You know
it's
what I mean?
Actually easier when there's more people. Like, I get more nervous at like birthday parties when there's like 20 people than when there's 2,000.
Yeah.
When there's 2,000, everyone's just a number. You don't care. You just do whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're not as like fixated on you as well.
But at a birthday, like, it's a bit more like, ooh.
Yeah.
You can see everyone. You know what everyone's feeling.
Yeah.
You can sort of cancel them out when it's a big crowd. So I prefer to play to bigger crowds. It's so much easier.
Yeah. It's you. It's so interesting. Wait, so aerospace engineering, these sound like two completely polar opposites. How are they both linked to Chris Degani?
I've always had a very big interest in like space, physics, everything. I loved it, always loved it. And music, in a sense, is like you got your sound waves, everything. When you get into production, you realize it is mathematical to an extent.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to cut out certain frequencies, and it's sort of just math, but instead of using your eyes, you're using your ears.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes,
it's,
yes, yes.
They have a lot of parallels.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there's a whole job called a sound engineer, which is literally
Yeah,
just
true. Literally.
they get your songs to like that next level.
Mm.
So they're very related.
Yeah, yeah.
And even aerospace, in a sense, is like you're designing all these parts. It's creativity.
Mm.
You got to design something that wasn't there before, in the same way you got to make a song that wasn't there before.
Yeah, yeah.
So they are very related, and everyone's always very surprised that like I'm doing both.
They sound so far.
Yeah,
but that's
very related.
yeah. Mm-hmm. But even science itself, it's meant to be. It comes from a creative process, and I've heard people say as well where you almost need to have a sort of religious faith in science as well, where it's kind of like this belief in the unknown before you can actually measure it, say this does that, and then kind of bring it back to like a measurable kind of a process. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, the whole goal is to sort of, you have an idea, you write like an equation for it, and then that's how everyone can test it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can sort of put it into proof.
Yeah. Do you kind of live your life that way? How are you?
Yeah, I'm very logical.
Yeah.
I'm very like, no decision's really ever hard because it's just you put it down to logic.
Yeah, yeah.
Even like the whole which genre to go in, you know, it's just like you bring it down. All right, well, it doesn't matter what I like because I like both. It doesn't matter what people like because there's a crowd for everything. So then it's down to where do you want to play. So you can sort of work through any problem in life. You can break it down logically, and then the solution's easy.
Yeah, yeah. But it still stems from this like experiential feeling.
Yeah.
Do you believe in free will?
Never really thought about it, to be honest.
No. So there's like I don't know. I'm really torn about it. But there's ideas that it's like have you heard of determinism? Are you familiar with that? So essentially, everything you think you're doing has already been determined by a cause. Everything is cause and effect. So although you think I'm about to clap, everything that's led my life up until that point was going to cause me to clap anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm about to butcher this, so the following is not accurate. There was some type of study that said it kind of measured people's, it asked the subject to make a decision on something, maybe press a button, and asked them at what point did they think they pressed it. But the brain scans showed that it had made the decision well before they thought they made the choice to choose the thing, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot lately because it kind of gets me in this. I think the reason I really like dive into that is because it almost feels like it allows me to think things, whether good or bad, are just happening. Everything is a happening. We're just kind of sitting there watching it all kind of, experience. It's like it's not the opposite of science, but it kind of feels like they face each other and then kind of morph as well. Yeah.
That'd be interesting to look into. I think it's just the way you've put it, like the whole domino effect of it is just like an overcomplication of like how just time flows. Do you know what I mean? Like things happen leads to another.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of like nature nurture, how you grow up.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Like what determines what you do today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But even that, it's some degree genetics, basically. It's kind of determining.
Personality, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fair enough, man. Yeah. Life.
It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. What would you, could you imagine yourself doing anything other than these? Well,
Than music?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I love what I study, so
yeah.
For me, music's like an extra. If I can, obviously music wouldn't be forever. Like I'm not going to be playing when I'm 60.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the goal would be to do it if it was to happen for 10, 15, 20 years. And then after that, go back and finish school if I haven't.
Because there's a lifespan to it, yeah.
There is, yeah.
Well, is that a judgment thing? Because I've got another mate who, I'll drop the name later. I think I'll send you a mutual on the IG. But yeah, he was DJing as well. But then he's kind of pulled back from it. But his reason was like, I don't want to be fucking 30, you know, DJing. I'm like, wait, that's not that bad. But it was the first time I kind of noticed, like, oh, is there a lifespan? Is it just judgment going in? You know?
I think it's how you look at it. Like David Guetta's almost 60.
Yeah.
Calvin Harris is old.
60.
Yeah, David Guetta's very
Oh,
old.
shit. Yeah.
There's a lot of, in Europe, I think it's just how we look at it here. In Europe, I mean, a lot of producers, if you're just a DJ, I don't know, it's a 50-50 call. It's how you feel. But for a producer, I mean, experience is like the main thing that gets you, like you get better with experience. So
yeah.
You can't be,
Not just time, yeah.
you have 1 in a million that's 20 and is a good producer. You know, you need that experience unless they started very early.
Yeah.
So all the artists I look up to, none of them are below 40.
Fair.
Yeah.
But then it's like, how many artists are you not looking up to that are 40? I think that might be where the judgment is of like, have I reached my success yet? But they usually say as well, like that's kind of the, have you seen that photo where like the guy's digging and then the gold is like right there? It feels so true, man. Yeah.
I mean, if you keep going at it, eventually it's like a probability thing.
Yeah, literally. Oh, there you go.
Something has to happen,
Yeah.
Like Medusa, they're in their 40s.
Yeah,
there's another artist I love, Ferric Dawn. He's in his 40s. So I don't think it's a bad thing to be a bit older.
Yeah.
And to go at it.
Nice, man. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm still playing in the area and it's like 32, 33, I'm like, oh.
But I don't know. I get I want to get it, but I think
I'll still produce, but in terms of just playing, you know.
Yeah, but I think as well, it might be what you're trying to get. Like if you're just trying to get the girls as well, then it's like, all right. And I think that was the other thing is like, he's kind of like, he's like, oh, what if I want to settle down? And you know what I mean? So I guess I can kind of, it's not an excuse.
I don't think that's an excuse. Oh, if you're there for the girl, I mean, there's a lot of people, I know people that DJ for the girls and it's like, if you want to do that, it's fine.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, if you love the music and you want to produce, there's no limit for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think I don't know, I don't look at, if I'm 30, if I'm in my mid-late 30s, I wouldn't want to be DJing in a nightclub. Like it's...
Yeah.
It depends what music I want to make then, you know, and what it suits.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah.
Other than just, you know, age.
Age, yeah, exactly. Where do you get, you've mentioned your inspiration. Is that just the sound? Do you have like are you into like the Goggins and all the motivationals and whatnot?
Nah, I feel like it's like supplementary. Like you should have it intrinsically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if you're just relying on that, then that becomes like your phone.
Yeah, true.
Like you shouldn't. I don't feel like you should need to rely on another person yelling at you to be motivated. To, you know,
it's just another addiction.
I'll just like sit somewhere and listen to their music and be like, yeah, I want to get into it.
Yeah,
I want to start making something. Like that's the inspiration. Or you hear something new and it's like, because every time a new song comes out, it's like I could have thought of that and I didn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did he think of that and I didn't?
Yeah.
So you sort of try and work backwards and see, all right, what am I not doing that he's doing? You know?
Well, yeah, again, probability as well. Like the more time spent. And another thing as well is like, these convos are all linked. I love it because I was listening to another thing of like people on their deathbeds as well, what they regret the most. And the big thing was where they've spent their attention more than anything. So, or worrying about the wrong things, basically. So it feels like, yeah, all you need to do is just give it the experience of your attention, basically. And probability-wise, it's just likely to kind of go in that direction.
Yeah, that's why I feel like chasing success isn't always the best way to go about, because you can't, how do you put a metric on it?
Yeah.
Like for me, when I started, you know, and I was getting a stream a week, it would have been 1,000.
Yeah.
And then when you hit 1 million, it's like, oh, well, what's the point in going still?
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't put success is, I work in numbers, so I can't not define it without a number. There has to be a number.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like looking at it as like I want to be successful.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it does, you're successful either way because you did it.
Well, I think it comes down to that. If you're genuinely doing what you love, and you can actually, I guess, but there is, again, numbers, because you do need to be able to make money to do what you love. Yeah. Like right now, I'm kind of working to fund the thing that I love, which is this essentially. But no, that's interesting, man.
I think people get lost in the metrics and it just like messes with you a bit.
Yeah. What does it mean to you then to kind of grab the people's attention? Is it because that's essentially what I'm doing? I don't know why. I really don't know why. I just think for me, it's kind of, it just feels like where everyone has forgotten how to be human and I mean that. I just feel like if I'm walking past someone, like an older woman, a man, anyone, like I'm not afraid to start a conversation as if I know them. And you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like, hello, fellow person. Like I was on a track and this lady with their kids, I'm like, oh, is it long? Like, but I just kind of, things like that where it just feels like I'm really trying to capture that in the podcast, is this kind of how to just be a human with other humans. Because I feel like that's kind of a dying art.
Yeah.
So from me, I don't know if that's my main drive for all this, but it definitely feels like a massive factor. That's kind of why I want attention as well. That's what I'm convincing myself. That's what we're saying on
Give yourself a better cause. So it's like, you don't feel bad about saying, I want attention.
Exactly. But I guess, and that's kind of what I'm asking you. What's your bullshit story about wanting attention?
I don't know. I think that's the one thing I lack in. Like, I don't, social media wise, like putting things out to get attention, I'm not doing.
Yeah,
that's the part that I haven't quite nailed yet.
Yeah. And it's working for you, but.
Yeah, it is. But I need to be a bit more proactive with the whole, getting people's attention, the snappy hooks, all of that. I think once that comes in, it'll be really good.
Well, the other catch as well, and all businesses are doing it, is you have to create a personalized brand as well. So can you ever see yourself kind of talking to the camera, getting more involved, Q&As? Like, I'm sure people would want to hear, or people do want to ask you things as well. Like, is that something you've considered to become somewhat of a personality?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at how to do it differently. Like, there was a sort of phase where people were just doing like track breakdowns,
That's
how
cool.
they made the track. And
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's been a while, so maybe it might be time to hop into that. But trying to look into a way to do it differently, because I think that's how you're really going to get people's attention. Do it differently. So I sort of want to do it in a way that's not like quick attention. Like, I want it to be people who are interested.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like now I get more DMs from people when I'm like true to what I'm trying to do than when I started. And there was a lot more people listening, but less people that cared.
Yeah, or less. It sounds like less people engaged with Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just the song.
Yeah.
So the brand is definitely a huge thing to try work on.
Do that, man. Honestly. But I get what you're saying, because I think that personality, it does matter, because it makes the viewer feel involved as well. And it kind of becomes we're on this journey together, Yeah.
I think for your industry, brand is very important. You sort of got to build that.
But everywhere, it feels like that's the thing now.
Yeah.
Because literally businesses are doing it as well. It's all social media. Everyone wants to link to the individual that they're giving their attention to.
You put a story behind it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you put a story.
There was one thing I saw that was made me realize how important it was. So there's this, have you heard of Loon, the croissant place?
No.
So it's like this very big croissant place, like very bougie, nice, lines every day, sell out every day.
$30 for a croissant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know how much it is.
Yeah,
But like, they're nice.
That. Yeah.
And it's like, you look at, all right, why is it doing well? Well, the owner's an aerospace engineer. She worked with F1. Her name's Kate Reed.
Wow.
And then she sort of created this story and this brand where she left that and put that sort of science from that into making the perfect croissant.
Wow. Yeah.
And then, so you sort of build that story and then around your business, and then people are like, oh, I need to try it.
Right, yeah.
This is the best.
The perfect croissant.
Yeah.
Just
Do you know what I mean? And then it's like this really educated person working on something like that. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay. And then you look at it like that and you're like, all right, well, you got to learn how to apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
What part of your story can you use to sell people and investing in you?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Because it is a literal investment. It goes back to, the only real currency we have is our attention at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So
the span is so little.
Yes, bro. We're just a fucking blip, bro. I always feel like, do you think about death much?
Here and there, yeah.
Yeah, I think about death quite often, and it really just feels like life is really too short not to do what you love or what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it really feels like we're just a fucking boop. We're not even. Do you know what I mean? So I don't even know where I'm going with that, but it really just feels like life's too short. It's a blip, man. It really is a blip. And that's kind of I think the link I'm making there is you got to, people just words. But yeah, I was going to repeat myself and basically say, it really feels like you're, when you start to hear yourself,
No, I get it. There was a movie have you seen Interstellar?
I like Interstellar.
Movie?
Yeah.
There was a line in it where the professor goes,
Good save.
I'm saving it. There was a line in it where he goes, he's not afraid of death, he's afraid of time.
Yeah,
and I
right.
thought that was like a really good takeaway, because you only die because of the time between your life, like you're born and you're dead.
Yeah.
So I think that's the more important thing to be afraid of, to focus on,
or to lose the time essentially.
Yeah.
Because they say as well, there's no, what is it? Time doesn't actually exist because it doesn't exist in a vacuum. Time only exists when measured relative to something.
It's it can be different. It's gravity, really. Like where the gravity of where you are will influence how slow light goes.
Yes.
And your brain perceives light as time.
Your brain perceives light as time.
Yep.
Your brain perceives light as time.
So, all right, let's say I have a frame and a car's driving, right?
Yes.
If I speed it up and I speed it up and I speed it up to the point where you won't see the car anymore. So that's like how time and light influences how you perceive things.
Is that because if the car moves faster, the time it got to there dropped?
Yeah, so how you're changing time changes how you perceive things.
Yeah. Okay.
So then, like, obviously in that movie, it's true. Like, if you're at a place that's very dense, like a black hole, whatever, your time actually slows down.
Yeah.
So then it's like, how do you quantify a human lifetime?
Fuck.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's... Turn around, Mom. Right, did you cry or no?
No.
Oh, fucking, I'm pretty sure I cried, yeah.
It was...
Turn around. Murr. Yes. Yeah, shit.
But it's, like, the concepts are really interesting, like, because it is real, ultimately. Like, it's maybe not that, like, the box and everything, but the whole concept of how the time works is real.
Yeah, because, the aging part when it's further away, basically.
And where, like, the industry that I want to work in is like we're on the cusp of a boom where there's manned moon missions in the next 3-4 years. There's a manned Mars mission in the next 10.
Yeah.
So it's all going to start to we're going to start to look at outside of just Earth and our planet.
Yeah.
So
our Lord and Savior, Elon Musk.
Yeah. He's actually doing really well. So it'll be very interesting to see like how psychologically we change when it's a bit more expanded than just here.
Yeah, but even that, I don't know how to feel. Like, I appreciate that because it's kind of, but it really feels like, why would you start building the second house while your house is literally burning?
It's
like, why would you not?
Burning because we want a lifestyle and we're not going to change it.
But that's my point. Is we're just gonna leave the stove on in the new house, anyway. We're gonna burn the new house down. And that really gets me. Where it's like, it doesn't feel like we're caring enough about this world. And I don't really know what I mean by that, but we all get a sense the world is crying, You
have to look at it like it's a resource. It's not a person.
What? The world?
The planet. It's just, it's a rock.
No, it's not.
It is. It's a rock with molten lava in the middle and it spins.
No.
If you take the emotion out of it, there's beautiful places and...
Oh, no, I'm not even saying that. I agree. But if we cut all the trees, we die.
Oh yeah.
And that's logical, but I wave to trees sometimes, like unironically, and I talk to them like in a way that's kind of I think treating the earth as Mother Nature is alive. I think that's like crucial in not burning it down.
The problem with that is you have to sell that to people without
sounding like a fucking idiot.
And in order to save that, you have to take away something else. Like it's getting cut down for resources, for things that make us more comfortable. Or us, quality of life things.
True.
You'd have to save the planet. You'd have to convince people to live like a caveman. I don't think you'd ever be able to do that.
Not caveman, but I think it's kind of we're not gonna make it as a civilization. thank God for the work you're doing. So what is, side note, what's the goals from that perspective, that you guys are working on physical parts that may influence the ability to literally go out of space?
So I want to work in propulsion, which is like engine systems in rockets. So
that's intense, bro.
You know, they're testing one right now that's designed to carry 100 people to another planet.
Yeah.
It's your phone, an MRI, all of that came from this industry. So obviously when the Apollo missions were on, they had only a little bit of weight to lift it to the moon. So you were told the rocket can take 10 tons to the moon. So you have to get all the computers, all the life support, everything into that. So without that pressure, we wouldn't have an iPhone. You wouldn't have a laptop. You wouldn't have an MRI. All that came from
the innovation of it. Yeah. Well, was that coming from this
microchips? All of it came from that industry.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah.
So that's why these pushing to go further and further, people will just think tunnel vision. Oh, it's a waste of money, but really it helps every other aspect of life.
Yeah.
Because we improve that, we improve everything else.
Yeah, I completely understand, but it feels like I genuinely appreciate it. In this instance, my gut just tells me we're just kicking the can down the road and we're just pushing back. Well, I guess we're giving ourselves more time to figure it out.
The can's going to be gone soon, and not soon, but the sun's going to blow up. There's a million other things that will happen.
Yeah.
So
that's the other thing is it makes the knowledge of that. Have you seen? Sorry, I keep referring to memes, but the one that's 8-year-old me freaking out, finding out black holes exist.
Yeah,
it's literally.
I remember climate change was the scariest thing I'd ever heard of.
Because we had a drought, if you remember, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Back when Kevin Rudd was saying sorry, I think it was that time. Yeah. I was literally having buckets in the shower and telling the family, we have to water the plants for this. I was literally freaking the fuck out.
Dude, climate change, they made it sound really all the coastal cities won't exist anymore and all of that, which...
Isn't it happening?
I mean, it's not at the rate they expected, but it is to an extent. But I mean, you got to look at it as a balance thing. You have to give something in order to keep that as it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to convince everyone to give up. We got a mind for every single thing in this room, right?
A mind?
Like a mine. You got to mine it.
Oh, yes.
All the materials. That hurts the planet.
Yeah, true.
That's a tree. That's a tree.
Sorry.
So, but you got to understand that it'd be a big change to make enough of an impact. And then you have a lot of people on the planet too. So how are you going to solve that problem?
Yeah, well...
you have to split. And then if you look at it mathematically, survivability, you're on one planet.
Yeah.
Your extinction rate is high because it's just one thing. If you're split across two, that's half.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
If it's half, that's what other thing that you can do on here that can half it? Nothing. That's the next step.
Yeah, assuming what external kind of comes and...
Yeah, something which is not impossible.
Yeah, 100%.
So...
even, were you keeping up with... It was during COVID, it feels like a fucking fever dream now where... Are aliens here? There was a moment where they're just this is proof.
No, I think they...
Didn't you hear all that?
There's a lot of... If you look into especially America, their development program, they're 20 years ahead of what they are now. So you'll see a highly advanced aircraft. And if you obviously don't know what's going on. You don't know what the newest technology is. You're going to think, what's the first thing you're going to assume? You see a round thing floating.
Yeah. Did you hear though that pill? I forgot what it was, and it moved in a way that essentially there was no propulsion.
Yeah. It's just hard because there's just so many different reasons to pin it on that. That's but probability wise, there'd have to be something else out there somewhere.
Yeah,
just off the sheer amount of planets there are.
Yeah, and then it comes down to have they seen us? Have they blah blah blah?
And then you have to take into account the time dilation as well. So obviously, if a planet's a light year away, that's how you measure distance.
Yeah,
how long light travels. You're looking at it a year ago.
Yeah.
So if they look at us any further than 1,000 light years, they're not going to see anything on the planet. What are you going to see?
Yeah.
We were on farms and everything,
or
maybe a bit before that.
But that's what I heard was a way to counter that was by using... Oh, no, because it still travels with light, but it was essentially projections.
Light's the limiting factor. You have to go faster, which is impossible.
fuck.
Yeah.
And then we get into wormhole. What,
Yeah,
what
all of
was
that,
it in
wormholes.
Interstellar? The example.
Yeah,
with
that
the
man-made
paper?
thing. Yeah,
But,
it's technically possible, which you can't do it. Like we can't do it.
yeah, it's all like theoretically possible, but you need to fucking turn into a noodle string
Just
to
need
like.
to just do everything. I don't know about that, but yeah, we got to push forward because what else are you gonna do? You're gonna sit here and extinguish the fire.
But it kind of what are they called? Type 1 civilizations, type 2. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of a bit of it. I can't remember what the criteria is, but you need to, because obviously, like I said, the sun's going to blow up, so you have to move eventually.
Yeah. But then it kind of makes me go down this path of not nihilism, but essentially, well, yeah, it's the sun's going to blow up, you're going to die, we're all going to die. Why are we doing what we're doing?
Why else? What other reason do you have?
Yeah, I guess. Well, because I'm scared of otherwise, I guess. Yeah, and that's kind of when I had a similar thought where if I'm driving and I'm like, yeah, go, go, go. As soon as I see the traffic light go red, I slow down and chill the fuck out, because I know at the end of the day, at the end of that road, I'm going to reach the red traffic light. And I try to apply that to my life to some degree, where it's a red traffic light at the end. So just I try to adopt that driving mode sometimes of like, why am I going? Just fucking literally stop and smell the roses. Like I genuinely do that. Again, it's just, and I'm saying it partially like look at me, but also to kind of externalize. It's okay to do weird shit because it smells good. You know what I mean?
It smells good.
You know, it smells good. Not to put those two in a sentence with each other, but yeah. I don't know, man. It's pretty full on.
It's all just a circle, but like obviously, do you know about how everything in your body comes from another star that blew up?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
to
really,
some
it's
degree.
just like a cycle, and that's how everything went.
Yeah. And so I think that was a point I was trying to make earlier, was in terms of the trees and the planet and whatnot. That's more to the point that the planet and the ecology is 100% alive. Like we are the universe experiencing itself, I feel like. Or that's a...
Depends how you define alive, like consciousness or just moving.
Well, fuck, hold on. Whoa. Wait, because then how do I know you're conscious and not just moving? Why are you, Chris, and me to you, any more alive than a tree? Genuinely.
I can talk to you. I can prove that I have my own thought and decision making. A tree sort of can't, I feel like.
Animals show intelligence
Animals
as well.
do, yeah. They're conscious, yeah.
You think they're conscious?
Well, they have to be.
Just like a lower level.
Like if there's anything that involves making a decision, I don't know about the science where you draw the line.
But trees show pain as well.
Really?
Trees show pain, or at least like the whatever the tree equivalent of hormone is, will like kind of, I'm butchering it, but like open ions or whatever to allow it to move away from a certain thing.
Yeah, that's like a response. That's like...
But that's pain.
But if you go to get a computer and you write 1 + 1 and it gives you 2, that's the exact same thing. You're just getting a response from a stimulus.
But that's human as well.
But I don't have to have a stimulus to do something.
You don't have to have a stimulus to do something.
Yeah.
Can you rephrase
like that? I can just get up and walk there in the corner without being told to, or without something else happening to me. Do you know what I mean? Like I have my own free will to walk there.
No, you don't.
Oh, back to the
Well, the reason, so we're doing a thing now. Eventually, let's say we wrap up all hunger. I'll get hungry. Therefore, I will move because I'm hungry. Eventually, you get horny. You'll do the thing that like, you know. And
I'll start DJing.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But it feels like even in that instance, you're not doing the thing. You don't have the free will, essentially.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it. Like I'm hungry, I have the free will to get McDonald's or Hungry Jack's, or I can go and cook my own meal.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like if you go externally to like the point where you're looking at it through a microscope.
Yeah.
Look at it that way. It's perception. It's all perception.
Fucking hell, man. Yeah. Good Lord. There was a, what's it called? The hungry judge phenomena. Have you heard of that? Again, I'm going to butcher it, but that's okay. It's just, we're cool. Yeah. Long short of it is they did a study and they found that whether a judge is hungry or not dramatically affects the sentence that they give to a person.
Really?
Yeah. And it kind of went down to this free will conversation of even a judge in their impartial, objective decision making is heavily influenced by things that are completely out of, their decision making. So it's a cool insight to think you are completely in control, but how much is just emotion and feelings navigating everything that, like, I don't know, the things that come from inside outwards. It just comes from this, like, it's not even nothingness. It's like a non-existence. It's just an interesting
about
thought.
that. You just like, you can't actually prove anything. So you just get in this loop and then you're just like, whoa.
Fair. But no, humanity is progressing. I think I try sit back as well to kind of appreciate, like, we are in the most golden of golden eras of human existence, of, like, up until this point, the technology we had, like, you'd literally die from diarrhea. But I think in the future, there's going to be too much. I think it's called the Malthusian crisis, something like that. But it was similar to what you were saying earlier, where the reproductive rate increases so much further than the agricultural rate. So you either have war or famine, basically, and then it kind of becomes how do we population control, essentially.
I think the innovation is just going to stop soon because
Okay.
it's great that we're automating everything, but it's to a point where, like, I look at younger kids now and they, like, their ability to have complex thought just isn't there because you've thrown an iPad at them from young.
Complex or creative? Complex?
Both.
Yeah,
I'd say
okay.
both. Like, I feel like we need to keep, especially like kids, until they're like, I'd say 16, away from things that think for them, things that reduce their attention span.
Yeah. But a different ball game when society's moving in that direction.
Yeah, it's hard. But like in the 60s and 70s, where that was probably like the golden era of my industry and physics and everything.
Yeah.
If you don't have the ability to, like, if you're always told what to do, you have an iPad in front of you that's telling you what to think, what to see.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the ability to go, oh, what if this?
Yeah, and that's the thing as well is, man, kids, like, the imagination, it's like they're being fed the game. Because I believe in, like, game theory where everything is a game. Society is a game. We're all playing some type of game. And for kids, at least, it's the imagination that they get to create the game with. They're losing that completely because it's being fed to them. And that's, more to the point of, or also to the point of, what I'm saying of a golden era where it's going to get a lot more authoritarian in psychologically, yeah. We're in literally today, literally right now, the peak of human existence where we have the technology, but we're not completely overrun by technology. We're watching AI in real time literally become our god, and we are sitting down having a podcast. Like,
you know, it was
what a beautiful thing.
So in high school was before ChatGPT or any of that was around. So I got through high school with just like books and whatever. Now that I've started uni and I see like all these, they're all a bit younger than me, and they're all like ChatGPT this, ChatGPT that, and you look at it and it takes out your whole ability to think. It can solve, like, I can put in a whole question on an exam and it will give me, I don't do it. And it will give me a whole breakdown of the answer, and you can make it simple to the point where, like, it explains it to, like, a kid.
Again, that meme that's like, shorter.
Make it simple. That's what I'm doing. I'm yelling at it. I'm like, make it the whip. I do the voice message. I'm like, make it simple. But it's like, and then it goes back to like what Google did, where before, if you wanted to learn about a tree, you'd read a whole book on it and you'd learn everything. Yes. But now, or before, you go to Google and you write, how does a tree survive? And you get that one piece.
Yeah.
So like now, like, our knowledge got less from that, from when search engines and everything happened. Yeah. And then now with this, it's just going to diminish to the point where what's the point of knowing everything when it's there and it's reliable?
Yeah, I get what you mean, because it's stopping. It's stopping the mental rep for the cognitive process that needs to happen. But we got to also remember as well that the information ecology era, that is completely novel to humanity. we've never been this saturated ever by information. So reducing it almost isn't an issue because it's taking away the, that like decision paralysis where there's too much. Like we have more knowledge now than ever, but I'm not learning fucking aerodynamics. You know what I mean? But like it's a different kind of problem, but also the thing that we've just changed from wasn't the thing that was normal either, you know? Yeah. What do you think we've like, what's something you reckon we've kind of lost without really realizing? And I know it's a hard one to throw you on the spot with. I'll give you one that's like...
I'd say like, honestly, it's a hard one. I'd say like innovation.
Okay.
Like now, when you're just told like back to the 1900s, it was like the golden era of everyone working out everything.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know anything, so you had to come up with things. But and it's going to get worse with the next generation because you know so much, you don't feel you need to know more. So like...
Yeah. Or you assume it's always coming from top down.
Yeah.
That you never need to
someone's going to work it out.
Yeah.
Or like even... Like commercial airlines will say, when was the last big change in commercial airlines?
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Like they've been same speed. Obviously internally, like the efficiency is better, fuel efficiency, whatever, and comfort. But they haven't gotten, like you had the Concorde that was the only supersonic commercial aircraft, and that was it.
Yeah, okay.
So I think as we get older, like, and the new kids come along and they get told, oh yeah, you have all this information, here you go. Why do you need to remember it? So then why do you need to innovate?
Yeah.
It's just like, I think in the education system, it's like the hardest time to be a teacher.
Yeah.
It's very easy to just put a video on and just sit there and let the video do the teaching.
Yeah.
And my sister actually works as a manager of teachers. Like she manages a group of teachers in her school. And they're like, it's literally just now that, you know how you have doctors, you have evidence-based practice. So everything they do, they have a study to back it. That never happened for teaching.
There's curriculums.
But the way the teacher enforces it in a classroom is how they want to do it. They come up, they might make you do a gluing activity. They might some teachers will just put a video on and just make you sit there and watch it. So now there's studies on how kids learn, and literally just now it's starting to get implemented into the classrooms. So
it's pretty full on. Yeah,
like I think that's a really sick change because we need these kids to be learning the best way they possibly can.
Yeah, and we need the best teachers. I've really, it saddens me how low of a pay teachers get because if they only created a more financially, monetarily competitive environment, you'd bring in the best. I would love to be a teacher, but what I'm doing now in construction, like, it fits my personality, to be honest, but there's good money. You know what I mean? And why is that bringing it in? We're literally raising the next generation of our society. It's pushed to the side. And as well, it almost feels like, just in general, it feels like there's no more adults in the room. And I don't know, I've got family and friends who are younger as well that they tell me about their experiences in school. I don't know if it was the same for you, but back in my fucking days, back in my day, mate.
Yeah, it's starting from
there. Straight out. If you fucking asked a teacher their political opinion, they wouldn't tell you. They'll be like, don't worry about it. And there was this distance with the authority that I respected. Do you know what I mean? And there was a curiosity, and it was never. I don't know if it was just those teachers in my vicinity, but there was a personal barrier. Whereas now you've got this new generation of teachers that, and I know a lot of teachers. Fortunately, it's none, or I believe it's none that I know. But from the younger people that have been telling me their experiences, there's this level of like literal indoctrination of these are my beliefs, you should believe it too. How dare you think that thought? It's like a completely new world we're living in. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what the solution to that is either. I think increased pay would literally weed them out, basically.
Yeah, or you'd attract more people who come just for the pay. That's another problem as well.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I really thought I had it down, bro.
Like construction, you just get people who don't care, and it just pays a lot. And you hear about all the construction stuff now and all the
but if
inspections and everything.
But if you, and this is where a lot of, most things come down to incentive structure. So if you're in the instance of teachers incentivizing the development of the kids to the best of their ability, and that's what gets rewarded, aside from this like kind of corruptive, step on each other's necks, which construction does reward. But if you like, it's real dirty like that. But I guess if you just incentivize the right things, I don't understand why. And I'm speaking in a naive, why can't we all be friends perspective? Like the trees are speaking. I'm really trying to wear that hat as much as I can, because even if it's wrong, I think it's good to try to, bring it into life. I don't get why we can't just, in a very stupid, innocent way, increase pay and incentivize, the development of the children. I can't wrap my head around.
Where are you going to get the money from?
Well, how about we don't fucking spend it on dumb shit, which I don't know, over the last, anyway, the money's there.
You're getting political now.
Yeah, I was like,
you gotta be careful.
Yeah, you can see me holding it.
Taking it from.
Yeah, straight out. Yeah, but there was, I don't know, I don't know. It's pretty full on, man. But yeah, innovation, that's a really, really solid point. I was thinking something a lot more lighter than that. I noticed it's like a funny thing where it's so irrelevant, but it's worth noticing. Do you remember how there used to be a meme that was like, when kids are like, "Can I play with your phone?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's technically.
Yeah, they all have a phone.
They all have a phone.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't notice that's like that was a moment in time, and it's non-existent anymore because they all have a fucking phone.
So bad.
Yeah.
I was like the last generation. Like, I got my first phone at 13, 14, maybe.
Yeah.
That was like a BlackBerry or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like
On my BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm doing?
my Nokia. I had the little, I had the flip phone. I thought I was the coolest person in the world.
Shit.
I was like, wait, 1 second. I'm getting a car. I'm really becoming that person now. It's like back in my day.
Yeah, but we are, man.
Yeah.
Time is changing. Time is slipping. And there's things that made us human, community, religious or not, the utility of religion, all just dropping, man.
But the exchange of that is that you are now more connected to them than you ever were. It's just
on the
through
phone.
the phone, yeah. It's like you don't need to check in because they'd call you.
Yeah.
So if there was a problem.
Yeah, while
So it's like very little things that add up, and then it's like this big deal.
But you don't get the human feedback through the phone.
Yeah, correct.
Like everything is lost through the phone. Even in language, the things we need to do, the amount of implication that we lose by explicitly saying things in human language, which you're listening to, meaning is lost. And we're reducing the meaning even more through the phone. I hate texting. Like, my phone's fucking dry, and I love it that way. It's like, all right, we're meeting, let's meet. I'm very formal on my texting because I'm like, I have nothing to text that's meaningful other than organizing. Yeah, literally.
And that's how it sort of was when phones came out. It was like a way to network, like connect, to meet with people. And,
yeah.
And then now it's sort of become like a, your Snapchat girls.
It's become a life, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nah.
It's like full conversations and everything.
Oh no, I'm still pretty. Are we meeting? I'm still pretty. I'm free at X.
Yeah.
So I try keep it off the phone there as well. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Are you with this whole AI overlord? Do you feel threatened as a DJ that it might take over?
You can't program them. So, all right, a song that was published in the 70s, if you publish that today, like the biggest song in the 70s, if you publish that today, it wouldn't do well. It's not the right time.
Okay.
So,
yes.
And how are you going to teach AI what to do how are you going to teach AI to think ahead? It can only take the information that it's got and right now and spit out an answer.
But the information it's got is our constant engagement with the internet.
Yeah, but
so
it can't tell what will be big. It might guess. It can guess. But how come no one else has? I think we put it on a pedestal, like
AI.
that it can do a lot more than what it can.
Yeah.
It's just like a computer.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not it can't. How do you teach it emotion? How do you teach it this chord has this emotion? You can say it.
Yeah.
But you can't tell it how to do things.
Well, it can't. Are you saying? Help me understand. Are you saying it can't interface in real time? It can definitely understand emotion. It can definitely, because similar. We remove consciousness because I don't know if you're conscious or not. You are still behaving in a very algorithmic, humanly way. In time, it will grasp that, I feel like.
Now, how about this? Why do we have a DJ at a nightclub?
What?
Why can't you just have a Spotify playlist playing and just save the money? Or have a pre-recorded set? Why have a person there?
To read the room, to understand the feeling in
Do
the
you
air.
think people would come to the club in the same way if it was just no DJ decks, nothing, just a room, a box with a bar?
No,
just music
I
playing?
understand what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
the reason that, or music events, you're gonna go. Your favorite artist is gonna be something that you can't even see.
But they have like AI people going for president as a joke. Or what about all the AI girlfriends and shit? Like we are slowly moving there.
I
no?
feel like the whole joy of it,
Mm.
like with all this, you go to a show, it's to see the person.
Mm.
Like you look up to them.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you look at a great mind or whatever.
Yeah.
The
relation.
and even a DJ, it's just there's a feeling you get when you're in the room and there's someone controlling it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if it's just that's the whole point. When people ask that, I just say, well, you wouldn't go out to a club and just listen and just there'd be no DJ. There's just Spotify playing.
But so you because haven't you seen the AI music videos? Like there was just one I saw, but it hits the spot. Like it's and I think it's that hit the spot feeling, which if it can learn and predict that. I'm not saying there's a redundancy to DJs because you're right. The feeling is the human feeling, and the person there who, as a human, because that's what we are. I know the human there is there understanding the humans in the room. So I guess in an event space, 100% agree with you. But in terms of a creative space, do you think it might become a lot more of a crutch than people should use it for? Maybe that's a more.
It's hard to tell because everyone thinks of AI as like it's its own thing that can learn and think and like it is. But right now, the AI that we've got has the whole internet and it can chop things and answer questions and it can read words and understand what they're asking.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not at a level where it's its own person yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's got its own thought and it's got a consciousness and it can just decipher what you're saying.
Yeah.
And spit out an answer.
Sound human enough.
Yeah. So
yeah.
In the future, you don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I know that they're actually like doing a lot of conventions now about control and how they're going to implement it.
Did you listen to the Social Dilemma or watch that? Yeah, Tristan Harris and his mentor Daniel Schmuchtenberger. Schmuchtenberger, yeah, like yeah, it's so yeah. But yeah, they're basically a really good documentary, just outlining how how most of the time we say AI can hear or the phone can hear you. The long short of it is they said it's worse than that. It has a digital profile of you that predicts what you're gonna like, and that's why you think it's hearing you, but it actually just knows you that well. They're someone who are, very strongly working in like the legislation of AI and basically, but it becomes that arms race of like, if we stop it, that's not stopping China from going hard anyway. So what do you can't really control it because everyone's doing it behind closed doors. Yeah. The Oppenheimer fucking
it's gonna be that again. Or like the space race or anything. It's just whenever a new technology comes, everyone's going to compete for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But even TikTok itself, like that's a weapon. Like if you think about what it's done to you, like you can lower someone's attention span through an app that's making them happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you look at that and you're like a China, America, you go, oh, it's a weapon.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. If you look at it on what it's doing to people psychologically.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I could sit with a sniper rifle for like 3 hours and not be scrolling on something. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like you've given someone the instruction of hold this site, and it's like you're gonna sit there and look down the same thing for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
You can't. You'll get your phone out. You'll be like, oh yeah,
shit, and fucking they run through. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, that's bang on actually.
Maybe that's how it was designed, but
Well,
it's an interesting thought of how now, before it was bombs and all these different ways to deliver like damage to people and places, but now it's like mental
subversion,
and even how AI will be used as a weapon will be interesting.
Yeah. I heard TikTok as well. Again, don't know if it's true. I should Google this before I talk, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Australia, within the terms and conditions, you accept that
even if you're not on TikTok, it's allowed to read your typing patterns. So let's say you're typing a password into your bank account or something. You've granted it access to actually have all that data. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a data race, basically. And I heard that's why potentially Elon bought the Twitter. Yes, our free speech lord and savior. Ultimately, he wants a monopoly on the data he's going to feed into his AI. You know,
Yeah, he's working on that Neuralink thing, which
Yeah,
is
and that's-
in a sense the same. But you got to like,
he's implemented that.
why? I don't know. The way I look at it is like, why does the government care what I do individually? I don't really care if they see what they see. Like, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just not that bothered by it. I don't know. Me personally.
Well, because you're not a threat yet.
No.
Yeah, but like COVID, if you did what was reasonable, you were a threat.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the scary thing, forgive me for talking about COVID again, but the scary thing about COVID was we learned that you can convince people to not only do things that are unreasonable, but to force other people to do things that are unreasonable.
That comes back into people not being able to think complex. The thing that got me, and I fought with so many people on this, the curfew. That was the one thing I said, all right, you have a shopping center that's open, Coles, let's say it's open, let's say 24 hours. It's not, but let's just say it is.
Yeah.
You have 1,000 people that go within 24 hours. If you shorten that to 7, now you've got 1,000 people that go in 7 hours. So if your problem is density, you've literally just made every single Coles more dense.
Yes, bro. I've said something very similar.
Everyone, like I used to get into, I was like one of those people on Twitter. I used to fight with people on like when you bring out the numbers.
Yeah. Fuck.
They had no idea.
No, exactly. But that was the other point. It was kind of, literally, you weren't allowed to think or you weren't allowed to discuss. I assume you weren't saying, hey, I'm right. It's, can we talk about this? No, don't fucking talk about it. You fucking don't know, you know what I mean?
But it's one thing when like what I just said is like you can't prove it wrong. It's a fact. Like it's numbers. You can't argue with numbers. Like there will be more people. They're gonna go to Coles for the Coles example. They're gonna go either way. You're just shortening. You're bringing more people in the same place.
Yeah. And there was
transmissibility goes up. So like you can't argue that. There's no counter.
No, I know. And unless it mutated, the knowledge I had at the time was COVID could not be transmitted outdoors.
Really?
Yeah. So this, if you think I'm lying, it was on a Channel 7 thing as well. So that makes it legit. If it's
little bit more legit.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, it's only legit then. Yeah. But at the time, it could not be transmitted outside. That was knowledge. So again, to make it more dense, push people inside, lock people indoors, it's almost like we did everything opposite of what we were meant to do, hence unreasonable. What point were we on there? Because I was talking about doing things that are unreasonable. I forget.
Oh, about control.
Yeah.
About the whole Neuralink.
I guess so. But yeah, I guess no, because I was offended. I was mad at you actually, because you were saying you don't mind. That's
like,
where we are.
It's like you get the ads for the things you want, and it can work in a way, but then you sort of like giving your information in exchange. But with that example, and even if we came to like a war or something, and they needed to control you, it'd be a lot easier.
Yes.
Like it'd be
Well, they got because and again, we are just an algorithm. They know your patterns. They know this. They know that. I understand the argument of if you're doing nothing wrong, why do you care? But a reminder for me is I was doing nothing wrong and I was a criminal, or we all were who did nothing wrong. 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And that was like, fucking get inside. Yeah. You know how scary, because I didn't follow the curfew or whatever. It was so fucking scary, bro. If I was out past 9 o'clock and I'm driving home, it was funny because like I'm on the freeway. Instead of every car just driving, bro, we were literally, everyone in the car was like this herd of sheep. I don't mean sheep derogatively. We're like a herd of something, herd of penguins, all next to each other, so that if a cop came, it wasn't like conscious.
Didn't know which one to pull over.
Didn't know who to pull over, and we just instinctively turned into prey. And the idea of, and then like on the freeway, I'd seen a cop pull someone over. Oh my God, bro. It was just the fucking scariest feeling. It's just weird times, bro. Weird times. Yeah.
There's so many arguments you can have with that.
Yeah. At least we're past it. I think round 2's coming. I really do. Yeah, no, let's leave
It
it
depends if you. I don't know. It could be a weapon.
It is. It's. They've already started saying monkeypox, and in the bird one, they're declaring a state of emergency already.
Really?
Not state of emergency. Sorry, but I heard on the radio something emergency. Like the World Health Organization or blah blah blah. It wasn't our government, whatever that body was, tried to declare it as though it's an emergency again. And I was like, bro, just don't, man. Just don't. Yeah. And they tried to legislate it very recently, but it failed.
I don't know if everyone would listen this time.
I truly believe you're wrong.
Really?
Yeah. I hope you're right.
I think after all like the exposing from how badly like Melbourne in the whole world handled COVID, I don't think anyone would listen.
Yeah. Even if you're right, as accurate as you may be, I believe it's more important to verbalize that I think everyone is going to follow it a second time. Just to create that
funny?
feeling.
Like where that starts from school.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the teacher's the authoritative person, and you listen.
Yeah.
Like you don't. I always respected my teachers. Like I would do something that was against them if I wanted to, but I didn't because I respected them.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like this is an authority and you have to listen.
Yes, exactly.
You have, as a teacher, you should be trying to have respect with the kid, like two ways.
Respect, not fear.
Because then, and then that passes on to police and everything, and it's just a big domino effect.
Yeah, I know. But hopefully we're out of that, man. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Definitely see.
In terms of the DJing, is it a lonely endeavor? And I guess what's your relationship with loneliness? Is that
the travel? The travel can be. At the start, like when I was going to Sydney and everything, the boys would come along, or when I could play at a club here, they'd all come along. But then when it's not lonely. It's like it's enjoyable. You see people there. You meet at the club. Everyone's like probably the nicest they'll be.
Yeah,
they're all drunk and they all want to have
true.
a conversation.
Everyone wants a good time. Yeah.
And then they all want to talk to you and whatever. So I wouldn't say it's lonely.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people understand what you do and like in depth of it. So it can be a bit lonely in that way, where it's like I'm lucky I've got really good producers around me, so I can ask them questions.
Yeah,
but
nice.
It can get a bit like there's no one here to help you.
Yeah. You just got to pull yourself out, basically.
You just got to work out how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not a very lonely job.
No, that's awesome. And then is it a supportive environment? Does it feel like there's a sense of community, or can you see like someone would?
Oh no, I wouldn't say it's supportive.
Not supportive. So there is a dog eat dog element.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
is because everyone's sort of trying to get to the same spot.
Yeah, and there's only one spot. Like there's only one DJ in the room. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. In terms of that, like I wouldn't bother to ask anyone who's playing at a club to help me because I just know they'll be like, yeah, I like this. I just won't ask.
Yeah, shit.
But yeah, I don't think even for like music, I just don't think they won't give you their sort of. The bigger artists will, like, because they're already there.
Yeah, true.
So for them, they're happy to help you. If they're going to help you, they're happy to help you.
Yeah.
But the ones who are on your level, like...
It's me or you, basically, yeah. But it doesn't need to be, though.
It doesn't, that's how everything that's ever happened has happened.
Yeah. But I think...
I'm not going to change it now.
Yeah, it's... to me, that's just short-term, long-term thinking. Those who are thinking short-term, it's me. Long-term, understand, helping you helps me. And that's essentially society as a whole. Yeah, we're fighting other countries, but it literally is long-term for humanity. Cooperation over competition, 100% wins out.
Oh, yeah.
Net positive.
But you need competition, like space race.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have something pushing you to do something, you won't get it done.
Yeah.
There's just like you won't spend the money on it, you won't spend the time on it, because you need some sort of
push.
competition.
The survive.
You need the push.
Yeah.
And then it's like you see someone doing well, you're like, oh, I have to do well. It pushes you to do better.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
So I think we need it to a degree, but it doesn't need to be like toxic.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you.
Love to be here.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for letting us in, man. It's been good. And thanks for saving me from that. I don't know. That was embarrassing.
Your little breakdown.
I've been like like twice now. I'm like, fuck. I really enjoyed this, man. It's good. And I'm keen to see where you go. I genuinely, again, completely selfishly, really, really excited to see you starting to perform. I'm rooting for you. I hope it does happen,
Thank you so much. You're the best.
No,
We'll see.
awesome.
Hopefully soon.